there are film spoilers ahead. So can't say we didn't warn you. Enjoy.
There's an option to leave meeting when it starts recording.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be on camera or recorded? Mm-hmm. Well, sorry, Cheryl, you have to stay.
I almost did. All right. So please.
Damn it, Cheryl.
Hey! Welcome to the party. We only have one rule here. Please leave by 9.
All right, so welcome to Please Leave by 9, the only comedy podcast party where you can actually attend in pajamas and we won't judge you. So my name is Tatiana, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Sarah, Cheryl, and Anna. And Cheryl, who do we have today for this amazing party that I'm so excited about?
Well, today, that sounds so bad. Today we have a coworker of mine and a friend, and I don't know, lots of great, amazing things to say about him. But his name is Rob, and he's a filmy person, as Sarah so lovingly referred to it. Welcome, Rob, to the party.
Thank you, and I'm glad about the whole pajamas thing, is because I am in my pajamas right now. Just like I am also and sweats. Yeah,
I'm wearing adult Granimals. They match. My bottoms match my top.
I don't know what a granimal is, but I like it.
Thank God.
Oh my gosh! I'm excited to get into it. A lot of stuff that I'm excited to talk about and hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. So today we are doing a topic that was usually we give guests the option to pick their topic.
Usually,
but for you, I said no. I already know what you're doing, because every time we go anywhere and meet anyone new, Rob does this thing where he'll just be like, "What's your favorite bad movie?" He just starts.
Oh, that's good.
Starting conversation with everyone, and everyone loves it. They're like, "Whoa, never talked about this before."
What's a red flag movie where someone says they like a certain movie and you know who they are already? You got to stay clear.
I had that situation happen. I think I told Cheryl about this. First of all, it's not every time. It's not that I have other questions. She says that it's every time. It's not every time. But
every other.
There was this, every other. There's this person who I asked, she told me she loves Christmas, and she loves Christmas movies specifically. And I was like, okay, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And she said Fred Claus.
Yeah.
And I just thought, out of all of the Christmas movies you could have possibly picked to be your favorite is Fred Claus. And I just kind of felt like I was going to run away. Yeah.
That's the one with Vince Vaughn, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Lord.
Isn't he also in Four Christmases?
Yeah. I haven't seen either of these movies.
That might be a better answer. That's a better answer, Anna.
I don't think that's also a favorite Christmas movie. I don't think you should trust someone that says that's their favorite Christmas movie either, because it's hardly a Christmas movie. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was a red flag for me. I was like, okay, I gotta go. Not Home Alone, not Elf,
the second Home Alone is a winner. That's the best answer I think you can come up with, is Home Alone 2.
Yeah, Lost in New York. Love it.
Well, I hope so what we're going to do is we all have brought, because Rob is such a good, a finder of bad movies. We're calling them ridiculous in a way as well. We all brought to the table for the first ever Ridiculous Film Festival. And we brought our own picks. We're all going to go around and tell you about our favorite horrible, ridiculous movies.
Hi, Cheryl here, 1/4 of your favorite podcast host from Please Leave by 9, and I am so excited that it is finally summer, and we all know what that means. Festival season, music festivals, pirate festivals, you name it. Time to pack those perfectly planned outfits and head to the desert for long nights of dancing or swashbuckling. No matter where we run off to, my friends and I have one major rule in life: hydrate or dihydrate. And that's why I take Liquid IV with me on all my sunny adventures. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone and has 3 times the electrolytes of a traditional sports drink. Plus, those little packets fit so nicely in my dinosaur fanny pack. They have 12 amazing and delicious flavors to choose from. I love to stay on theme, so pina colada and watermelon are my summer go-tos. Whether you're rocking out to this year's headliners or recovering from pirate-themed bar hopping, Liquid IV's got you covered. You can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code PLB9 at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop for better hydration today using promo code PLB9 at liquidiv.com. Don't hydrate this summer.
And starting off is, I'm reading the notes. One of them just says sci-fi comedy. I'm so excited. It's Sarah. Let's go, Sarah.
Okay. My first nomination has really anything you could want in a movie. It's got true crime, ghosts, colorful ponies, James Franco. Does anybody know where I'm going with this? Niagara
Oh my
Falls.
God. No, I don't.
Movie
I have to look
starring
at the notes
Tatiana
again.
Miller
What are
and
you
James
talking about?
Franco is the 2008 Camille.
What?
Okay.
You're gonna have
The
to
plot of
dig
this
into that.
movie is Camille and Silas, played by Sienna Miller and James Franco. Silas is on parole because he's a bad boy, and his parole officer's niece is in love with him, and she's like all American, kind of aloof, just like loves life, and is totally oblivious that he hates her, but they're getting married because she really wants to honeymoon in Niagara Falls, and he's thinking, if we get to Niagara Falls, I can cross the border to Canada and skip out on my parole. So, along the way, they get into a motorcycle accident and she dies. And but she does not know that she died, but he knows that she died. So they meet like a rodeo cowboy guy who has colorful horses like pink and blue. So she basically starts to decompose as she's like living, breathing, walking, living her life. He like gets her a wig and like rubs her with formaldehyde. And this whole time he is like, what happened? What's going on? And then the cops are chasing them because they think that he killed her because there's some signs. But then some people are like, no, like she sneezed, I saw her sneeze, but they think he's lugging around her corpse, but she's like alive. And then she finally like comes to terms that she's dead, but they're like, we just need to get to Niagara Falls. And then they start getting a ride from this like rodeo clown guy. Along the way, like as he takes care of her, he learns to care for her and he slowly falls in love with her.
While she's dead.
Her dead body.
I just want to clarify
like,
that.
It's weird because like she's not a ghost. Like people see her, but she is like slowly dying. And then it like all climaxes. They get to Niagara Falls finally after a journey. He's like, they're on like the ship with their ponchos, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get somebody to take our pictures. She disappears. He sees the Canadian border, is like, I could run for it, but decides to turn around and look for Camille instead. And then this is when the police find them and they shoot him. And then Camille shows up on Maggie, the old blue horse. He gets on the back of Maggie and they jump into Niagara Falls together.
Oh,
over the falls.
Yeah.
Like over
into the falls. Yes.
On the horse.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that she was really nervous that there was no rice thrown at the wedding. She thought it was bad luck. And after they jump into the falls, rice starts raining. And he also then eventually says, I love you. And she says, I love you too. That's when they jump.
Oh, that's sweet.
So yeah, it's really romantic.
Very.
I think that this might have fueled the girls know about this, but I had a bad boy thing for a while. I kind of blame this movie. Because
Okay, heard, understood now.
I'm liking this movie for a lot of things.
James Franco's really good in it. I can read some reviews that I found.
I would love to hear.
Sweet.
Okay. Somebody said it's meant to be cute and harmless, preying on romantics, but it registers more as a complete absurdity. Somebody else said the only people who might enjoy it are necrophiliacs or masochists. Either way, they have issues.
You do love movies with ghost sex.
Well,
That's like
that
common.
brings me to my awards. I actually think
Yes!
this movie did very good at resisting ghost sex because
Whoa.
the furthest we got was a ghost kiss. So PG-13 ghost romance.
Oh wow.
Very impressive,
Also-
actually.
Yeah.
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 Jeez.
Also, I'm gonna go with most memorable red wig. She wears this like blunt red wig after all of her hair falls out, and it's like on the cover of the movie. It's very good.
Oh my god. Oh my
And
god, I
best
can't wait.
use of colorful ponies.
And they're real horses, just
They're
dyed
real
different colors, right? Okay.
No,
Okay.
they're not dyed. They were born that way.
Oh, they were. Oh, totally sorry. My bad.
Does everybody else just feel like they want to watch this movie right now?
I need to
Yeah.
see it for the
Yeah,
ponies.
because I just
Tiffany.
didn't even like you
I've
did a
never
great
even-
job of explaining it, but I
was debating. I didn't really know we were doing this. I was like, do I spoil the whole thing? Which I guess I did. But
Spoil
I
the
hope it convinced
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
that you
no,
want
you
to
needed
see
to
the
do that.
details along the way.
I wanted to see how you came to your
Wow.
conclusion, and that's very valid. All of it. It almost sounds like it was written to play in the background of an actual movie. Like this is the movie that the characters like to watch in the movie.
Yeah,
Starring
yeah, I
James
love that.
Franco. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
amazing.
hilarious. Wait, what is it called?
Camille.
Camille. Yeah. Gosh, I can't.
It's
I don't
just-
even.
It's very whimsical.
I love that. I'm writing that down.
I thought it was a fever dream that I had because I've never met anybody else who has watched it, but I
can see
really
why.
liked it when I saw it when I was younger.
Wow.
Oh, I love
You
that.
think-
That's going to be a theme. That's going to be a theme.
Yeah.
Wait, do we know? Did you say? Sorry, when did that come out?
2008.
2008. Okay, yeah.
Great year for cinema.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It
best.
was.
The best year for PG-13 ghost kisses.
Ghost
Yes.
kissing.
When did Charlie St. Cloud come out? It was like around the same time too.
Oh yeah, it's honorable mention. Oh my gosh, what's your other one, Sarah?
Okay, this one was a backup, but then I realized how much I love how ridiculous it is. So it is a movie adaptation of an SNL skit that started, I don't know, I forgot my numbers. I think it was 1993, the Coneheads.
Oh my god, I
Oh,
knew it. I
wow.
knew it.
Oh my
Hilarious.
god.
So some of you have seen the Coneheads?
I have not.
Yes.
I have
No.
not seen it.
I have.
Oh yeah, I've seen it a lot.
So the premise of this movie, it's like these aliens crash landed on Earth. It's a couple. He takes a job as like a repairman or in a repair shop so that he can fix his equipment to like talk to his planet. Basically, like his planet wants to take over Earth and make it like a refueling station or something. But it's just like it stars like Dan Aykroyd. And it's got like David Spade and like Adam Sandler, and it's got like a lot of like OG SNL
Wow.
people. And then they have like a daughter, and then it like shoots to like her as a teenager. And the Coneheads they're just aliens, but their head is in the shape of a cone, and they just kind of learn American life. And along the way, they also have to decide if their loyalty lies with their home planet or with their new home planet of Earth.
That movie is so bizarre. Like it is so bizarre. Like I remember it being on all the time. It was just like one of those movies that was always on everywhere I went, and every time I was just like I would watch it. I don't know why, but it's like like Chris Farley's in there, like
Oh
he's
my
like the
God.
young boyfriend of the daughter and stuff, and it is just like such a weird movie. Like
It's like a movie
so-
that my dad forced me to watch because he's like, "This is what we watched when I was a kid," and I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
okay."
so good, classic. Wait, what awards does that movie get?
I guess the award is best metaphor for the immigrant experience in America.
Ooh, ooh,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
Coneheads.
Prestigious.
Okay, maybe not
Prestigious
best,
award.
but most satirical metaphor for the immigrant experience in America.
Oh wow, that's
I want to
amazing.
see. I want to see papers published on this now. They're
Yeah,
gonna use this
yeah.
as evidence. They're gonna cite this.
But yeah, I guess when like it came out, people were like, this is ridiculous. And it kind of still is, but then they were like, you know what? Like their experience mimics a lot in like a very comedic way. So
yeah, in a very like broad way.
and it's like it's kind of ridiculous because they literally just have like cone heads, but it's
They
just it
do.
makes it ridiculous because you're like, all they have are cone heads, but then you realize that other people have way less different about them, and they're kind of it makes it harder to fit in.
Yeah, they also like have like a weird way of speaking.
Yeah.
And like they kind of like sound like the aliens from Mars Attacks a little bit, where they're just kind of like they're this high pitch like nah. They're like, and they argue with each other all the time, and they're just like nah. It's just so weird. And the way that they have sex, they put these helmets on their cones, and they just like connect their cones, and they like touch cones. It's such a weird movie. Like those are the things I just remembered right now. I remember these
Sarah, you never brought up the cone sex.
Okay, to be honest, I didn't have time to rewatch this movie, so I'm going off memory.
Thank God you were here, Rob. Thank God.
I'm really glad you're here.
She put the cone sex out of her memory.
Yeah, I probably
traumatizing.
for a reason.
Yeah. Well, that's how you get a conehead daughter. Just so you know.
That makes sense.
We're all learning.
But I guess also like the SNL writer who started it, I think his name is David. I might be wrong though, but he came up with the idea for the coneheads while on Esther Island on acid.
Whoa.
No way.
Which makes sense when you watch the movie.
Oh yeah. that makes everything makes sense now.
That is the best fun fact.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. I love that. I love Coneheads is a surprise for me. Like I haven't even thought about that movie in a long time, but like literally it is so worthy.
I had to dig deep and be like, what's weird? And then I just remembered it, and then I was like, this is a backup. And then I was like, no, I need to talk about this ridiculous
You
movie.
do.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you did. It deserves a spot in the Ridiculous Movie Film Festival for sure.
Great choices.
Yeah, snaps. All right, Rob, what have you brought? What choices do you have?
Oh my God, this was so difficult. I was telling Cheryl that like there's just so many. Like I was trying to come up with a list, and I was just like, oh man, because I didn't know how many, or like and I just started writing down ideas, and I ended up with a list of like 20 movies. I was just like, oh my God, yeah, I gotta stop. Yeah, I was like, I have to stop now, I think. And I was like, I have to pick like two. Like she was like, oh yeah, we'll probably do 2 or 3, and I was like, oh, that makes it harder. But I kind of feel like the ones that I came to just make sense for me. The first one that I picked is the first movie I ever saw in the theater. And it's one of the movies that I've seen and rewatched. I was trying to figure out how to word this. It's one of the movies that I've seen the most. Like I've seen it as like probably over 20 times, probably. Like growing up, I used to rent it at the video store all the time. It was like 2 movies I would go and get from the video store all the time, and this was one of them. It was wait, I have notes. It came out in 1993. I am old. The movie is Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers, which like they're making a new one.
Right. Yeah.
This was like the OG one, like the actual, live action. And man, it is bonkers. It is a crazy, crazy film. It is like, I mean, if you think about adapting a video game, like which is funny because now we have The Last of Us that's currently happening right now.
Right.
So like it's so well done and
and like serious, dramatic.
It's so dramatic. And there's a story and a plot involved.
What?
Yeah. And
wild.
Like, if you look at the first, by 1993, whatever Mario games were around, it was like Mario is a plumber who goes through weird worlds, fighting and kicking turtles and trying to save the princess. And I don't know, like, how do you make a movie out of that, And
it's a lot
this
to work
movie, This movie was them. Yeah, I felt like they were on acid when they made that movie. Like, I'm pretty sure that happened. And it also has like really great. I don't even. It's so hard to talk about this. I don't know where to start. I feel like you can have a drinking game with this movie for just like as many times as they say plumbers or fungus, or every time a bomb shows up or something. Like the idea of adapting this movie is crazy on so many levels. There are basically three characters that you can identify as being from the video game, and other characters are just people that they gave like those names. You know what I mean? I was
Really?
like, that looks nothing like this character at all. Like Mario and Luigi, they look like Mario and Luigi at the end of the movie. They have like their costumes. And then you have like a guy like King Koopa, who
Yeah.
is just like wearing like a leather jacket and like has like this really weird like ruffle. His hair looks like Pringles. It's weird. His hair looks like they put Pringles going like it's hard. Like if you saw it, you would know exactly. You'd be like, they look like Pringles. Like, and they're like, that's King Koopa. And I'm like, I don't know how you get like that dinosaur, to this guy, but okay, we're gonna call him King Koopa. And then you have like these weird monsters that weren't in the game at all, but it's like these are the monsters, and
is it shot? It's shot where they're humans. Everyone's human. It's in the human world, right?
It takes place in an alternate world.
Okay.
There's a meteorite that strikes the Earth and kills the dinosaurs. Yeah, that's how the movie starts. It starts with the meteorite killing dinosaurs, and then what kind of happens, I guess, is that the meteorite creates an alternate world where the dinosaurs still exist and they evolve to be kind of human-like. And King Koopa, what his thing is that he is trying to merge the worlds together and be king of both worlds. So there's kind of like like people, like he's not a dinosaur, but he does weird dinosaur things, like
the dinosaurisms.
Like he looks at this girl one time and he just like sticks his tongue out. It's like a lizard tongue. It like turns into a lizard tongue, and his eyes do like this weird thing where they go like really like
the reptile.
Yeah,
they like
yeah, it's weird. It's just like they just like flicker in that way, for a moment, and it's just like what. I don't know what's happening with him, but cool, man. He really wants to be king of the world, I guess. I don't know. They shoot like Mario, in the game, he gets like the fire flower and he like spits fire at people and stuff. Here they have like these big guns that have flamethrowers eventually at certain points in the movie. They have these big giant like rocket boots, so they're able to like jump in crazy ways. There's one scene where they're in a prison and they need to escape, so they go through the vent shaft.
Of course.
Which I feel like is like them going through like through the pipes. And they take a mattress and they slide through the ventilation system, and they're all just on this mattress sliding through, and they're being chased by monsters, and that was like my favorite scene of the whole movie. I've seen this movie so many times. Like it's insane. Like I had the t-shirt.
Yes.
I had like the shoes. Like I remember getting like a popcorn, like a bucket of popcorn, and it had them on it. And like I was collecting all of the things. It was like one of the first movies that I was just so excited about, that I started to become like a movie nerd. And I know that it's really a ridiculous movie.
Okay, question. It sounds like this is your film origin story, but is the movie like Mario's origin story, or is he already like Mario in the movie?
He's like a plumber.
Okay.
So it's not like him learning to be a plumber, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the true origin story.
But like it's him becoming like Mario the video game. Like he starts as just the plumber, like.
Yeah. He's just a regular plumber living with his younger brother, teaching him how to plumb. and then like Luigi he meets Daisy, who's the princess who has escaped that world.
Wait,
And
Oh,
oh
not
no, wait,
Peach?
no, it was before Peach's
Oh,
time. It was before Peach's time. Yeah, this is
Oh.
Daisy.
oh,
Yeah,
Daisy?
yeah. It was
Wow.
before Bowser. It was before Peach. So you got
Oh.
Princess Daisy and King Koopa. I'm pretty sure they wanted to just probably disassociate from the movie and just were like, look, now we got Bowser and we got Peach. And
Wait, are you saying, hold on, the video game didn't have like Princess Peach and like Bowser before this movie? Is that what
I
you're
don't
saying?
think so. I don't think so. I don't remember when Bowser became the main villain because it was King Koopa and
So
then
then,
it was Bowser suddenly.
so then this movie was so bad that they were like, we have to invent an entirely new princess and villain because
I don't know. I didn't
Okay,
That
Bowser
was so
Bowser
good.
Bowser was introduced in 1985.
Oh
okay,
my Jesus.
He
wow.
first appeared in
Let's-
1985.
Maybe he was part of the original Mario. I don't know. I remember King Koopa when I played the games, and then he's the king and then he's the villain in the movie.
Someone, okay, don't you love when Google has like all the other people ask this question too? Someone asked, why did they change King Koopa to Bowser? So that they did change.
so wait,
That's what I'm like, are there two different characters?
no, yeah,
Are
because
they
I was
brothers?
gonna say, isn't Bowser like the king of the Koopas? Like that's his like thing.
Yeah, it
So
says
they just like
they wanted
and
to
they just like
change his
renamed him
name.
after that movie.
No,
I don't know. Yeah,
Choco.
were-
They apparently they wanted to change it to No Choco first. They were inspired by the name Koopa because they spelled it two different ways, and realized they would need to change Koopa Koopa name after altering the name of his minions. From there, it was just a really simple matter of fact coming up with the name Bowser to replace that. So I guess they realized they had a KUPPA and a KOOPA, and they
Oh jeez.
had to-
PR nightmare for those guys.
it is. It really is a VR nightmare. But I really do like the name No Choco. And no one's name is No Choco. And I
Yeah.
really wish. I hope the
I'm
new
upset.
Mario addresses that.
Oh my gosh. I think the new Mario is going to be amazing. And
You're the only one excited about it, I feel like.
You're
I'm
gonna,
so
yeah,
I'm
you're
excited
gonna be
about
the-
it.
Wait, there's a new movie?
yeah,
Wait, is
there's
it-
a new like animated Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, it's like coming full circle. It's like, wow, like this is where we look how far we've come, you know, where it's like this is the Mario movie I got when I was a little kid. That is
Knock off
so
Perez.
ridiculous and insane. That inspired me to become a filmmaker. And then now this is
You can create a Super Mario Brothers for a whole new generation, Rob. You can do that.
Yeah.
What awards would you give this movie?
Oh my gosh. What awards would I give this movie? I would say best use of sound effects from a video game.
Nice.
From a
Oh, they
video game.
use the actual sound effects from the game.
There are literally moments
Wow.
where they take the sound effects from the game and put them in the movie when things happen. It is
God.
hilarious. And again, just bonkers. And I like it's fun. It's a fun movie to watch.
That's
It's like,
good.
wow. And we could all make movies. That's what I learned from them.
That's,
Like,
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. That's the takeaway. That-
Yeah. I'm like, there was a lot of people who planned this.
They did.
And-
There's
And it happened. There's a lot of money that went. People invested in this.
oh no.
Yeah.
It's funny because when the new one was announced, the actors who played the two brothers from the first movie, were out on social media. Well, I know one of them's John Leguizamo, but I don't know. I forgot who the
Yeah.
other one is. But they were
The other
addressing
one-
their movie, and I
Yeah,
didn't even know that one existed until the new one was announced. So the fact, and I was already kind of like, I really want to know, but I didn't know anyone who's seen it. So the fact that you have seen it, thank you for your service.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Of course. It's why we do it, you know. It's why we're here. You know. No, I feel like it is actually rare that like I'll talk about that movie and that somebody has seen it or or even if they have seen it, that they remember any of it. You know, it's like not a movie people go back to, and I just was obsessed with it. It's
They
weird.
watched it.
It's weird. Sorry.
Yeah, people watched it once probably and they were like, "Oh, that was good." They're like, "I know every line." So
Yeah, I was like, you want me to reenact it for you
Yeah.
right now?
yeah.
I have my
You
own
don't
props.
need to even watch
I
it.
brought them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, have you seen the one-man version of that movie?
Yeah. I'm doing an off-Broadway production of it. Do you want to see? I'm gonna run you some lines.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Switches hat, puts hat back on, takes hat
Yeah.
back off. Different
Yeah.
brothers. That's
Exactly,
beautiful.
exactly.
Oh my gosh. And do you have a second movie that could even go along with that?
Okay.
For
Yeah, okay. So that's the first one. So the second one for me, this is one that I do talk about. That I talk about a lot with Cheryl. I remember seeing this movie. This movie actually came out when I was in high school, and I remember seeing it for Valentine's Day.
Wow.
And
What a pick.
yeah, like why did they release this movie on Valentine's Day even? But this movie is, let's see, what year did this come out? This came out, oh god, I'm dating myself again. 2003. On Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, by the way, Super Mario had a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, thank you.
That's higher than I thought.
It deserved to be
Good.
higher.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh, this one. Okay, so this is 2003's Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck, Colin Farrell.
Valentine's Day, you said?
Valentine's Day movie. Yeah.
Okay.
2003. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's 43%, which is pretty
Oh.
good. Pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
almost double.
Yeah. And this movie is like so much fun. It is insane how fun this movie is. Like it's a movie that I did recently rewatch. And I laughed so much during this movie. Like it is mind-boggling. And it's like I will say this movie has the best soundtrack. It has the best soundtrack. It has not one, but two complete montages to Evanescence songs.
No.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Amazing.
That's
Yeah,
an award. That
one
is
of
an
them
award.
One of them is a training sequence where they're all angsty and like getting ready and they're like training as ninjas. They're like fighting sandbags and stuff. You know, there's so Daredevil, if you don't know Daredevil, he's a blind superhero. That's his big thing. And he falls in love with this woman, Elektra, who is kind of like training to become, well, in the comic book, she's kind of a ninja assassin. But in the movie, she's just kind of like someone who's really skilled and trained. They have a fight sequence like that's completely like this was a time when everybody was trying to beat the Matrix. So it's like all the wire work, choreography, and it's so funny. They're in a playground full of kids fighting, and the kids are just watching him and her try to beat each other up.
At a playground?
And on a playground, and he's blind. I will say that again.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that again.
He's a blind man who she's trying to beat up, and he's trying to beat her up as well. And they're doing all the kung fu and all the like backflips, and they're on a teeter-totter swinging back and forth. Again, this is after they just met, and this is their love story. And yeah.
It's all clicking now.
He smelled her when she walked in, and she smelled pretty. And so he was like, I got to know that girl. Yeah. When she walks in, the shot of her walking in the coffee shop that they're in, it looks like, I want to say like a L'Oreal type of commercial, or like an Herbal Essence, like a Pantene, you know, she just walks in, and then it's just like all of the colors are just popping, and her eyes are like an insane like green color, and the wind blows, and like the music, it's just like there's a biker bar sequence where they're fighting, and the biker bar is playing, I mean, it's a biker bar, they're playing hardcore music, right? They're listening to Nickelback.
No.
Oh my god.
That's your favorite.
I love
Of course.
I love Nickelback and biker bars.
It's everybody's favorite. That's totally what bikers listen to
Oh yeah.
in the
Yeah.
toughest neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a moment where they're training and they're playing that song. What's the Evanescence? What's the big song where they're like, "Wake me up"?
Yeah, that one.
That
Yeah, that
one.
one.
I think
That's what it's called.
Can't wait. Yeah, like that one. And and every time she's singing, it's showing her training. And every time the guy starts to sing,
That's right.
it's
It's
to
too
show him getting dressed, you know, and he's like zipping his jacket and like putting his nunchucks into his. But before he puts them in, he then puts them, you know.
Yeah.
And there's
Show
a
the
lyric in
effects.
there. There's a lyric in there where he says, "All this time, I can't believe I couldn't see," and they're just showing the blind superhero just. It's just so this movie. It's just on so many levels. It is like insane how funny, and because also at the time like Spider-Man had come out and was a huge success.
Classic.
And this wasn't.
And a different type of classic, a different type of success.
And
Great
it's like,
point,
how
Anna.
did this not
It should be to
succeed?
it should be to the level.
Yeah. Well, he
um,
was like, I think what he was trying to do, because I listened to the DVD commentary on this movie several times as well.
Good.
As of course. And he was talking about how he didn't want to make Spider-Man. You know, he was like, I want this movie to be dark. It's not Spider-Man, you know, like he gets beat up and he deals with like murderers and like rapists and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's there in the movie. But at the same time, this movie is an insanely campy and goofy take on what darkness is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
Nickelback
like,
in a biker shop. That's
Yeah.
Nickelback and
Yeah.
yeah. That says it all.
it's hilarious. Like they're in the playground fighting, and it's just like I don't know, like Colin Farrell is like the most committed actor I've
He's
ever
in the
seen.
movie? What does he
Oh,
do
he's
in the
one of the
movie?
villains. He's called Bullseye in this movie. You would identify him because he has a giant bullseye
Oh, no way.
on his forehead. Yeah,
But Daredevil can't see that, obviously.
he can't. But at some point in the film, he throws something. His power is that he throws things, and he's like really good at throwing things. He kills an old woman with an almond. He
Those are
flips an
dangerous.
almond off of a chair and banks it into her mouth, and she chokes on it.
Wow, this
That-
movie is dark. This is
Yeah.
It
dark.
is very dark. This is a dark film.
Not
This is
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Not Spider-Man.
This is serious. This
Oh my
is serious stuff.
And isn't Ben Affleck Daredevil?
Yes, Ben Affleck is Daredevil. I am blanking. Jennifer Garner. Jennifer
Yeah.
Garner is.
Is this how they
Alexa.
meet?
This is how
no
they.
way.
Yeah, this
Oh
movie.
my gosh.
You know that happens.
all
That
makes
happens.
sense.
You know they met and fell in love. That happened on the set of Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Green
Which is
Lantern,
another
terrible movie.
terrible.
That's
yeah,
another
And-
terrible movie. Yeah. Yeah.
and he
Comic,
took the best
terrible
thing.
comic book. Terrible comic
Yeah.
book movie. Yeah.
He was
Or I
like-
should say ridiculous. Ridiculous, not terrible.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous movie. Oh
Yeah.
my
Honorable
God.
mention. Green Lantern.
Yeah, there's like
Oh.
I can't say enough about this movie. It's just like there's so many like things that he does where he names almost everything in the movie after different comic book artists, so you'll know that this is a comic book movie. It's like there are boxing sequences where that character is actually named after an artist who used to write on this book, or like, you know, this villain who just got killed. What's his name? His name is he's named after one of the other artists. You know, Stan Lee has a cameo in
wow.
this movie.
Dang.
This is the type of movie where in one scene, a guy throws a cigarette out from the scene of a crime where Daredevil had, you know, taken care of some stuff. And when he throws the cigarette down, he lights, I guess, up. I don't even know how to say this. When the ground catches on fire in the shape of 2 Ds for Daredevil.
Oh.
Wow.
Left his calling card. All
Oh.
you got to do is light it.
That's
you know?
tasteful.
He just
Yeah.
decided to like get gasoline and just like, I'll just leave this here at this crime scene so that they know it
Impressive.
was me, and they'll just know to throw the cigarette right here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he knew his audience. He knew.
Oh,
He knew.
impeccable.
Yeah, it's such a wild. This is a wild
Oh my
movie. It is
God.
amazing. I love this movie. I've seen it a lot, and shout out to the girl that came to see it with me on Valentine's Day and was like, "Yeah, that was good."
I was gonna say. So, did you get a second date out of that? Did you? What movie did you
Oh,
take her to next? Was it Coneheads?
Was it Coneheads?
I don't
Tell
know.
me
We
why
watched
it
a
was
lot of bad. We
Coneheads.
watched a lot of bad movies, I think, but that was one of them, and yeah, it was great.
That's once again, you picked another movie where I have heard of it, but I've never known anyone who has seen it. So thank you. Thank you once again.
Hey, Colin's seen it a million times.
Colin
Yeah,
doesn't talk
like
to me about it, obviously.
I think that's a movie that like guys are like they've seen it a lot, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's not. They don't talk about it, but they're like,
Except
"Yo,
for
you know,
you.
Is it
know
because there's
that."
two Evanescence montages? Is that why?
I don't know, man. Because what I did, I mean, you got to talk about those things. Like that was when it sparked my love for cinema because I was like, anybody can make a movie. we can all make a movie.
I love
You
it.
know.
Mhm.
Oh my God. That's good. Those are perfect. Just like Sarah's, those are perfect, ridiculous movie film festival criteria. That's insane.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
know. I don't know how I'm supposed to go through you both. Oh God. Okay. Now I feel like my movies are ridiculous in a different way, everyone. Okay, so when
I
I
love it.
was looking for inspiration, I am a person who has seen lots of movies, all different types, randomly. Like I'm just like, oh, look at this. And I realized both of my movies were from the same decade. I didn't plan that. And like Sarah was saying, these are like it's like a movie, and you're saying like Rob, that they're from like childhood, or you saw them once when you were a kid and you're like, that was like the best movie ever. And then you never revisited it, and no one else you knew, like no one knew about it, and it was only you, and you thought you made it up. My first movie is that movie, the epitome of that movie. My best friend and I growing up were the only two that watched it. We'd quote it. That was it. And this is the fantasy 80s classic animated based on a book of the same name called The Last Unicorn.
Oh,
Now you can see now you can see why I would want to watch that. It's very obvious. It's about a unicorn. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, Peacock, the streaming platform Peacock, has The Last Unicorn for streaming, and they remastered it. Just to put into perspective, when I first saw this movie years ago, this was 80s animation. 80s animation. So it's like almost stop motion, but not quite entirely. But also maybe they inserted like coloring book pages in between when they couldn't fill the rest of it. So my mom, when I was trying to watch it, she was like, I really don't want to watch this again. I remember it. I really don't want to watch it. And then it starts playing and they remastered it. And she goes, oh God, this is so much better. And I was like, wait, what? We haven't even gotten to storyline yet. But like, she was just like, this movie is already 10 times better. And I was like, okay, fair. Mia Farrow, the legendary Mia Farrow, plays a unicorn who realizes she is the last unicorn because some kind of scatten poetry butterfly shows up in her forest and says, you're the last unicorn and stuff. And then she's like, no, I'm not. And she has like I don't know if Mia Farrow really talks like a unicorn, but if unicorns could talk, they would sound like Mia Farrow. So they did an excellent job because she has like this breathy, like, I'm not the last unicorn. No, I'm not. And it's like, okay, Mia, go for it. Everyone else in the movie though, straight talkers. I was getting like some sass from them, so I think some of them were a little like New Yorky in there. Jeff Bridges in the movie, another Oscar winner. Alan Arkin, another Oscar winner.
My God.
Angela Lansbury, another Oscar
Oh.
nominated. Like this movie, literally, like when I saw this, I was like, whoa, I didn't realize there were so many big names in this. And it's because they all signed up because I guess the book I'm pretty sure it's a German book. When it was adapted, they all were big fans of it. So they were like, we got to be on The Last Unicorn. And I haven't even gotten to the best part. So she is a unicorn, but she meets a magician and stuff on her like trail to find the other unicorns, because she really doesn't know where she's going. She's just kind of galloping around. And this is also a metaphor. I don't know for what, but I definitely saw it. I definitely saw it where, let me tell you, maybe you can tell me what it is. Men cannot see unicorns. So literally she'd walk by and then they would be like, oh, look at that white pony. Look, come here, white pony. And they start catcalling the pony. they're like, come here, pony. And she's like, don't you know who I am? And she's like talking in her head. I don't know if they can hear her all the time, but she's like talking in her head. So men can't see unicorns. And it's because they don't believe unicorns exist. So therefore they're seeing a pony. Women, though, want to believe in unicorns. So therefore, if they saw her, they'd be like, that's a unicorn. Yeah, there's logistics. But she meets a magician. And because the magician believes in magic, because he's a magician apprentice, he knows what she is. But he tells everybody, that's a pony. That's not a unicorn. That's a pony. But his boss is like, nah, I'm gonna keep her in this little zoo thing and tie her up and stuff. And that's Angela Lansbury's character, is like this old witch woman who ties her up and tries to sell tickets to come see her and puts like a fake horn on her head so people can tell it's a unicorn. And so through all this, so she escapes with the magician, they become friends, and they're like, we gotta find the other unicorns. They find out where they are. Turns out this king in a castle on the ocean, on like the ocean front, he's the one who hired a giant red bull. Do you remember James and the Giant Peach? How there was that like rhino thing in the sky and it killed his parents? Who knows about that? That's not my movie. But the Red Bull is reminiscent of that thing where it just shows up and it took all the unicorns and pushed them away. And it just pushed them away and we don't know where they went. And so they follow the trail to get to this castle. Along the way, the magician, his name is Schmendrick. One of the awards for this movie is best use of catchphrases, because all Schmendrick likes to say is, Schmendrick is with you. And he just says that to the unicorn. He's like, Schmendrick is with you, unicorn. And she's like, okay. Like, she's like, I'm not sure that's a good thing, but thank you. And he is the sassiest thing ever. And he just goes around and he's just like, don't worry, Schmendrick's with you. I know what I'm doing. And then they're like, you don't. And he goes, I don't. It's fine. So they actually had some good humor in the movie that I don't think I caught as a kid. And I guess another award would be for their weird humor, because at one point, Jeff Bridges' character, they're firing their old magician so that Schmendrick can be the new magician. And the guy's like really pissed off. He's like, I've been here for years. Like, what the hell? And Jeff Bridges literally in a monotone voice, like holds him and says, oh, don't worry, I'll write you a reference. And I was like, a reference? What do magicians need a reference for? But he said it so monotone. He's like, don't worry, I'll write you a reference. And I was like, what? It's because Jeff Bridges was just talking in this movie. There was no voice acting. He was literally just talking. He was just like, oh, my lady, welcome, you know, and all this stuff. Well, spoiler alert, it turns out the unicorns were in the ocean. I know, who knew? And so in the white caps, you could see them all galloping. They were in the ocean. Yeah, I know, Cheryl. I know. It's shocking. So they figure it out. Yeah, so they figure it out. And there's more metaphors in there, guys, because there's a cat who's a pirate who speaks with a pirate accent. He's got a little peg leg and a little eye patch, and he tells them about life. There's like a skeleton who's not dead who wants to drink wine really bad, and they trick him into doing that. So it's like there's a lot of random.
What are they metaphors for?
I don't know, but I know it's something. I watched it for amusement, but when I was watching it, I was like, especially the men can't see unicorns part. That one really got, I was like, that means something. And so this is the big takeaway. They kept saying this, and at the end, so she turns into a human. Big part of the movie, an hour. They devoted an hour to this. She turns into a human because the Red Bull, the unicorn collector, can't tell if she's a human. It won't collect her. It's not. So Schmendrick, being the great magician that he is, he did it on accident, but he turns her into a human, and then they sneak her into the castle to get information. And while they're at the castle, they find out the prince's dad, Jeff Bridges is the prince, who's writing the references. He falls in love with unicorn woman, not woman, unicorn woman. And he falls in love with her, but they're like, you really don't want to do that. you don't want to do that. And he's like, no, she's great. She's never talked to me, but I'm in love with her. And she's really weird. She got bright purple eyes and a thing on her head, but like, we don't care. She's very pale. It doesn't matter.
She
And
probably had really good references.
she had the best references. They kept calling her Lady Amalfia, which I think they made up on the spot. I don't know if that, I think it's got ties to some mythology, but I think they made it up. But yeah, so there's definitely, but the one thing that they drilled in the end, so she finally turns back into a unicorn, which was a close one because she was starting to forget she was ever a unicorn, guys. It was really hard there. You were like, oh no. But then she turns back into the unicorn, defeats the Red Bull, frees the ocean corns, the ocean unicorns. They all run out. The ocean corns come back out of the ocean. It's a big thing. They don't trample the prince though, because he got knocked out somewhere in this. I don't know. That's another metaphor maybe. But he's lying flat on his face. The unicorns all run around him. They go scatter back into the world. And then they're like, well, she's not going to remember you. Like her two human, the Schmendrick, the magician, and another woman are like telling the prince, they're consoling him. They're like, she's not going to remember you. Sorry. Like this was all for nothing. But like, at least he got to hang out with the unicorn. Like that's pretty cool. And they're trying to tell him. And then at the end, they're like, wait a minute. Because she does remember. She's like, I know who you are. I remember you and all this stuff. It's because unicorns were never meant to regret, apparently. But because she couldn't run off as a human and live with the prince who she loved at the end there, because she was losing herself, she regrets that. So now she's the only unicorn in the world who has experienced regret. And and then they like are roll credits and then like they show her literally like walking back home through like all of it, and she's just like walking back home. And it's like playing, yeah. And by the way, the whole time they're playing 80s music by a band called America, and like they literally, when I say original music, it's like whatever the unicorn was doing, they'd be like, the unicorn is drinking water. And they're like, it's that kind of song where it's like they're narrating what's happening. And then it's called the title song, which apparently this is one of the best-selling albums in Germany. And the title song is called The Last Unicorn, parentheses, I'm Alive. It says it for itself. It's a bop. It's a banger. If you can find it on Spotify, I highly recommend to listen to The Last Unicorn. It'll get stuck in your head. That's what I kept going around like humming it and then telling my mom that Schmendrick is with her. And then I would just leave and be like, there you go. That's it. And I read the reviews because I was like, I thought this was ridiculous, of a ridiculous movie because like it's unicorns, they turn into humans and then they turn back into a unicorn and then they free other unicorns who are trapped in the ocean. If we run that down, that's pretty ridiculous. But no one ever knew, so I thought I made it up. I don't know. I just thought I was very good. Maybe that fueled my creativity because I thought I was that creative that I did that. But when I look back at the reviews to see if anyone else, to see the consensus, everyone voted this as like a cult classic. It's got like 10 stars all the time because they're saying it's one of the best fantasy genre, like movies of the genre, probably because all those darn metaphors I can't figure out. But another thing is that they said this is the equivalent, and I don't know how familiar we are, but like Japanese anime Hayao Miyazaki and his films about nature and the storytelling and his elaborate like relationships, like the character relationships and stuff, really good stuff. They're saying this is the American version of that. It's very wistful. The animation's very nice and airy. The story is airy. So it's like if we had anime, this would be it. This would the Last Unicorn would be our introduction. And apparently it's a good one. So I was like, okay, but it's very ridiculous because it's about a unicorn. And they say the word unicorn.
But it's so deep and
so deep.
And geez.
I can't get over it. I was like literally like every time they introduced a new aspect, like the cat with the peg leg, and then I was just like, oh, it's a cat with a peg leg. And then he started talking and he's like, I me arties. And I was like, oh my God. Like they added a dimension anywhere they could to spice it up. They did. So that's my first film. My second film, also an 80s cult classic. Yeah, I realized it was another film I watched when I was a kid, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And my dad showed it to me, just like Sarah's dad showed her Coneheads. My dad showed me Roadhouse. Do we all know what Roadhouse is?
I think that is a classic.
So Roadhouse, Anna, I know you don't know what Roadhouse is.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, I knew it. Okay, I could tell by your face. You want me to tell you. Roadhouse is Patrick Swayze, Dirty Dancing. He just did Dirty Dancing, and he's like, I'm looking for another hit, everybody. Write me a good one. They're like, Mr. Swayze, we have this, not really a thriller. It's just an exciting macho man film for you to do. No dancing, zero dancing, all kicking. Does nonstop kicking. We kick all the time. So Patrick Swayze is like, great, this will be great for my image. I don't have to dance and wear those outfits. And so he signs up immediately. So they did all the marketing for it, but then they wanted women to see it. So they made it comedic looking in the trailers, but it was not comedic. So it did horrible at the box office because all the women went in and they were like, what the? It was bar fight. So the premise of the movie is that a bouncer, this high-end bouncer, he's like really good at what he does. But if you've ever seen Patrick Swayze, he looks like a slim 5'10" maybe individual. But then they're like, this guy's the bouncer. And he's like, yeah. And then he like defeats them with his like kickboxing. And so he's a really good bouncer, and he gets hired to go to this nowhere town in like Kansas City, Missouri, to go clean up this bar called the Double Deuce. And the Double Deuce is like, they show it, and there's a literal net covering the band because people just keep throwing beer bottles at them. Like they just casually, like they'll break them and they just throw them. They like, if someone looks at you wrong, it's almost like a personification of the salty spittoon in SpongeBob. Like people are literally like eating nails and like just punching each other. And so another award for this film for Roadhouse would be best bar fight choreography, because like once those literally nothing could happen. They could all of a sudden a fight breaks out, and there was more than 5 fights in the whole more than 5. We outdid ourselves within the first like 20 minutes of the film. There was the first fight, and then from there it was like fights every other time. One person did a somersault. This is when I knew I was looking at gold. Someone did a somersault, and when they came out of the somersault, they threw the person. Like they literally grabbed the person, somersaulted them around, and threw them. And I was like, whoa, I need to learn that. Where is this in my self-defense classes? Great use. So Patrick Swayze is like he's like the how do you put it? He's like he's trying to shape up the bar. So he has his rules, and he's like, this is what we're gonna do to lessen the bar fights, because he doesn't want to fight. He's actually a philosophy student from NYU. You find that out. He's a very tender, loving soul, because he falls in love. This is another great part. He falls in love with the town's only doctor, who's a female. They call her Doc. She doesn't have a name after that. Don't look into it, but they call her Doc. And she's like this pretty blonde woman who like walks around, and she's just like, oh, like, why do you do this and all that? And he's all, I don't know, I just am, and like whatever, and mysterious type. So he tries to fix up this bar, and he does a pretty good job. They get it better and better. He calls his friend Sam Elliott. If anyone wants to see Sam Elliott less old, watch this movie. He's almost unrecognizable until you hear him and you're like, that's Sam Elliott. And he has beautiful hair. Second award for this is best hair. 80s hair all the way. Patrick Swayze literally has a mullet the entire time. Like it's just mullet. And then some girls have mullets, and then Sam Elliott has like this nice little feathered haircut going on. So when he like hits people, he like flings it back and forth. It's great. And so but yeah, so this is one of those movies where apparently it is on like a list, Razzie's list for top 100 most enjoyable bad movies, because everyone was like, this is kind of unbelievable, but they knew it going into it. The guy who directed its name was Rowdy. I mean, what do we expect? And so they kind of did it on. It's very like it's very funny. They know it. For example, the very last fight scene. They allude that Patrick Swayze's so good at what he does is that he has this finishing move where he'll literally rip your throat out. They hinted at it the entire time. And at the very last minute, he was pushed too far and he just rips the guy's throat out and throws it into a lake. And then like, there goes the guy. His Doc, the girlfriend, is like, oh my God, you monster. Even though she knew she was about whatever. But so yeah, rips his throat out. So it's like, what are you gonna do? But it's a feel-good movie. Apparently, after it happened, they would show it to Bouncer's world was changed because they were like, we should adopt these codes Patrick Swayze did. Really opened up everyone to the industry. They would show it for training for certain law enforcement, apparently, with just the Roadhouse rules. And then the last thing, my fun fact is that so at the time, and I don't know if Patrick Swayze knew this because he passed away in 2013 or something, but I'm sure he did. But this movie was not great in the beginning. Like I said, the marketing flops and all that. But because it was video on demand and Blockbuster stuff, it turned into a huge cult classic. So everybody grew up with it around them and they really liked it because it was so ridiculous. He was kind of upset at the time because it didn't do very well. And he stopped taking parts that were like that, like Roadhouse, where he had to kick people because he did so well at the training that they were like, you should become a professional kickboxer. Patrick Swayze is like, nah, I'll stick to acting. And then, but they wanted him to. And he even said, if I will die on this movie. Like if I die, it's on this movie. So that's how many fight scenes there were. So he ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick my next project after Roadhouse is going to be something milder. He literally rejected a bunch of other stuff and he picked Ghost.
I was just going to say Ghost. Oh my
He literally only picked Ghost because he could sit down or not move because he had hurt his knee so bad in Dirty Dancing and in Roadhouse from on the scene.
Right.
So yeah. So if there was no Roadhouse, there'd be no Ghost. So I mean, it was very influential for
all iconic films. I think.
Iconic. And it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, everyone. Go watch Roadhouse.
I am so excited to rewatch that movie. I saw that movie. I was like staying with my brother and his roommate, and he was like, "You never seen Roadhouse?"
That's the voice someone would say it in. Yes, that's exactly it.
Like, what kind of guy are you? You've never seen Roadhouse? We're watching Roadhouse right now. Put on Roadhouse. And I was like, okay, I guess we're watching Roadhouse.
I forgot to mention there's also a monster truck involved. They ride around it. The bad guys ride around in a giant monster truck. It's masculinity on steroids. Like it's literally, but not in a very horrible way. Like I like watching it. It's just so funny.
So funny. It is it's the classic 80s stupid good time with ridiculousness. We're like Patrick Swayze. Yeah, the mullet, the hair, the I can't even gosh, man, I can't even believe you picked that movie. Like that made me so happy.
I love Roadhouse. My dad just knew what he was doing back then. He's like, I gotta just teach him now what's going. This is what the world's like if you don't change.
Like Coneheads and Roadhouse. I'm happy with it so far.
And now, Anna, I can't wait. Because we know what it says on the paper. Rob has no idea, but we know.
Yeah, so I'm quite the opposite probably of most. No, I don't know, but I don't watch very many movies. And if it's because growing up, when I'd watch movies, I just fall asleep. Just like the car makes me fall asleep, movies make me fall asleep. But it's not that I'm not engaged. It's not that I'm not interested. I just I'd rather have someone live act it out for me in front of me to be more engaged. So I do have some favorite movies, and they're probably classics, but my movie that I'm about to discuss came from, we did a white elephant gift exchange, and my boyfriend David stole this movie that I'm going to talk about, and it's a DVD, and we don't have a DVD player. So when he talked about it, he's like, it's the greatest movie. His friend loves it. He's like, you need to watch it. And I was like, I feel like I've seen it, but he's like, we're going to rewatch it. So we just watched it. This is an Adam Sandler, not so classic. I think a lot of Adam Sandler fans were more upset when he did this movie. I don't even know if upset, but just it's okay, what direction is he going in? You Don't Mess with the Zohan is my movie of choice. And I just really I feel like I was just enriched when I
That's the right word.
watched it again, or I can't remember if I've seen parts of it or something, but like I just, oh my gosh, there was just so much stuff. Like I was just laughing the whole time, but then also like it's so ridiculous. Have you guys all seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Me
I've
neither.
seen it once a while ago. I forgot what the premise is.
Perfect. Let me inform you. Okay. So Zohan, who Adam Sandler plays in this movie, he's an Israeli commander, and he would like to stop fighting and leave the country, and is just tired of all that, to come to America so that he can be a hairdresser. He like tells his parents, and his parents are like, what, like, how are you gonna make money, like what are you gonna do? So he fakes his death. So and he lets like this, basically like this evil character be like, you killed me, and he leaves. And so it's so magical how he does this. And I don't know, we're not unsure if he swims to New York, but he gets to America. And he basically, his whole journey is just like him trying to be a hairdresser in New York without having the actual like skill to do it. But it's not even the skill, it's the qualification.
Right.
And he is very, very adamant about Paul Mitchell, the going through the hairdresser school there. But when he demands like to go see, he wants to meet Paul Mitchell, he would like to go to school there, he is rejected. Everyone laughs at him. He's got to kind of stay undercover the whole time, so he's got his accent, but then he'll just say, oh, I'm from Australia, but he has no Australian accent. Like he tries to cover himself. And there's a lot of challenges along the way, but he stays with this woman and her son. And the woman is Lainey Kazan. It's just like so funny, because like the whole dynamic is that he's basically just having lots of sex the whole time. That's just the whole thing. And he ends up like working at this salon. I don't want to like say everything, but he ends up finding a salon. And the woman who kind of like runs the salon, she's Palestinian, but he doesn't tell her that he says, I'm Australian, even though he has this Israeli accent. But he says this, and he basically the way he gets into the salon and like brings business is by doing old women's hair and then having sex with them. And
there it is. I remember now.
Yes. And that everything is all sexualized, which a lot of people were like, that's why a lot of people were upset, because it's so crude and, oh, like, what are you doing, Adam Sandler? But like at the same time, it's like hilarious. The reason, besides like there's love, there's humor and everything, the reason why I love this movie so much is because hummus is involved in it heavily. Everything they do involves hummus. From like when he comes to America, he still continues to brush his teeth with hummus. Everything involves hummus. That is like the whole, and that just like made me so happy. But I just like, it's just so funny.
Feel seen?
It feels seen. And then it's because it's like, okay, like what other movies do I like My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Well, obviously that's not a ridiculous movie. That's that's a 10 out of 10. This is like a 9 out of 10 because it is a ridiculous. The way that he fights people, he just like stands there and like basically like uses his feet and like levitates and stuff, and it's just great.
It's all coming back to me.
Doesn't he do like really weird, like all of his moves are really like jerky and like quick cuts, and he's just like cutting people's hair like this.
It's
and
like
that. And then
just
his
like
feet, like it does that thing where they do the feet and it like comes up.
The feet are like up here. Levitating, basically. And he like stabs himself at one point because he's like, I've done something wrong, and he's disappointed the girl, and he just like puts the hair cutting scissors into his leg, and he's like, what? And he's like, I need to do this, and like this is torture. Like and then he like basically it's just the whole thing like with the way he acts through it is like so great because he has a calm demeanor through things, but then like everything he's saying, he's just like he goes with such like I don't know, in enthusiasm when it becomes like, oh, like I found out like I love this girl, like I must stop having sex with every other woman. And it's like a change, like instantly. And it's very ridiculous, but it's also really great. And I'm really glad that David stole that movie, even though we didn't watch it on DVD, that he stole that movie because that prompted me to be like, we need to like get back into this. That is my ridiculous movie. I will definitely be watching it multiple times.
Do you brush your teeth with hummus?
I don't brush my teeth with hummus. What
Okay.
else does he do? Oh my gosh.
You're like, I felt seen, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yes, this is where my secret comes out. The hummus is involved in everything.
I'm sorry, Anna. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, no. The type of foods, like there's a fizzy drink that he like loves and he drinks it, he like gulps it down when he's in his country, and then when he comes to the US and the like his love interest basically like takes him on a picnic and like has it, and he like gets so excited, but he was like, I can't tell her that I like this because she'll know that I know like what it is and that I'm not Australian, because he's trying to keep his cover, and he just like gulps it down like super fast, and it's just so like, okay, this is so silly but also like part of the culture, and I like how they tie that in. So that's my ridiculous of all movies. That's mine.
That's beautiful.
It's not surprising. No one should be surprised here that is. I mean, except for I know Rob, you just met me, but
I was shocked when I found out.
Now you know the type of movies.
Well, like that's a movie that like I kind of have avoided for a long time. Like I remember loving Adam Sandler, and then there came a point where I just found him really annoying for some reason.
Yeah.
And that movie, like I've only seen clips from, but it looks so insane. And like I remember even seeing the poster. He's like holding like a hair dryer, like it's a gun.
Yes.
Yeah. It's with Zohan or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just right now, I mean, you've changed my mind.
Just like 2 words, silky smooth, is like the entire movie. That's what it encompasses, the entire movie. Silky smooth.
Silky smooth.
So if you do decide to go and watch it, you'll understand. But yeah, that's definitely mine. And I think that goes like I had another movie. It's ridiculous, but like this is like the movie, and if I tell you about that movie, it's like it's similar in the same type of, it's crude, like, so that's just,
and it has a trend.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I love it.
You like crude comedies.
Yes.
Amazing. I love that.
You have convinced me to watch Don't Mess with the Zohan, because I've known people who that was like their almost like their cult classic, and they would quote that movie, but I had never seen it, and so now you're saying that you are among them. I have to see what's going on now.
Got to.
Tatiana, you haven't seen it?
I've seen it once years ago, but not enough. Like
I feel like I watched it with you. I'm having like a weird memory because I only watched it.
That's what this movie does to you.
Long time
it makes
ago.
you think that you've seen it, because I was like, I've seen it.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it, but I think it was years ago, and now I'm having a weird memory of like you and me watching it.
I'm sure we did, Cheryl. I know we've shared many a movie together, so I would not be surprised if you and I were the ones by ourselves who watched this movie.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. And then I immediately forgot the movie.
It sounds
Thank you,
unforgettable. I don't know how.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. The way you put it, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Cheryl, are you ready? Take it home.
So while I was listening to you guys, I ended up switching my second movie.
Did we steal one?
Yeah, did we steal any?
No, you didn't steal them.
Oh, thank goodness.
But I feel like I have to talk about the other one more. I think it like goes along the lines of what we're talking about, but I'm going to start with one that is incredible, and I probably watched it way too many times as a kid. It was directed by the Wachowski sisters,
No
who
way.
also directed the Matrix series. Well, Lily did, not her sister, but they've got the directors, they know what they're doing. And someone called it a candy colored fever dream.
No way.
Oh.
I was gonna say this movie. It was on my list. It was one of the 20.
Really?
Yes.
It's one of the 20.
I'm so excited. This is a movie that's a live adaptation of a Japanese manga and anime from the 60s. It's called Speed Racer.
Oh my God.
And it's phenomenal. Like, this is literally, it's so bad, but it's so good. Like, everything, first of all, like the colors on it, they were candy colored. It's like so crazy. Like, everything, the design on everything is just like out of this world. Like, it's futuristic, but like in the most ridiculous, like 60s way of being like futuristic. There's this family who are all like race car fanatics, and their last name is Racer, and Speed is
Damn it, it's his name?
That is his
name is Speed Racer.
Oh, with that, you can only do one thing.
Yeah, exactly. But like his dad, and he's like a mechanic, and they like work on race cars and stuff, and that's been like their whole thing. And Speed Racer is the middle brother of like 3 kids, and the older brother was a racer as well, and his name was Rex Racer, and he used to race in like all these like crazy deadly like races and stuff. Like, all of everything is like the Grand Prix but on steroids. And
like Rainbow Road.
Yeah, like Rainbow Road.
Like
Yeah,
Mario
exactly.
Kart, Mad Max Mario Kart style.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. And the brother died. Like, he like died in a horrific like crash, and like the parents are like, you're not allowed to race. We don't race anymore. Some like whatever. And but like Speed, that's all he wants to do. Like, all he wants to do.
Speed Racer.
His name is Speed Racer. So like, what else is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
And he does all the races and stuff, but he doesn't do any of the like really deadly like cross country ones, until this like big like speed racing mogul comes up to him and like offers to like have him on his team, like pay for like sponsor him. And the dad is like, no, I don't trust him. He's not like a good guy. Something's sketchy about him. And when Speed turns him down, he finds out that like all the races are fixed. So like the like really wealthy, powerful people just like fix all the races and stuff. But there is some kind of like agent, like FBI agent or someone like comes in, and he's like, we've got like, we're starting like evidence, we're getting evidence to like take all these like crazy industries down or whatever, but like we need you to race, and we need you to like get evidence from these races that they're like cheating and they're doing all this stuff. And they have this like mysterious racer who like, they're like, you guys are going to be a team, and his name is, it's X Racer, right? It's like Racer X.
Racer X.
His name is Racer X, and he doesn't have like, he wears like a helmet the whole time, right? Or something like.
Yeah, he has like a mask, like helmet, like glasses concoction where you can only kind of like Batman, like only see like his mouth. And talks, like,
and he's just like super mysterious. And then like Racer and him, like the way that they race together, it's like intuitive and in sync, and like they're really good at it and stuff. And so then he has to like be in this, and so there's like this whole thing. And then there's this idea that Racer X is actually his brother. Like, his brother just like
chills.
I had chills every time I watched that movie. That's the whole reason I watched this movie. Like, you're just watching it and you're like, that's his brother, I think. We don't know.
Child movie? What is
Yeah,
this is the everyone movie. This is
I'm sorry. This is
everyone. And yeah, it's like crazy. Just the little brother has like a monkey pet thing that's just like always with him running around. And it's just so good. The whole thing.
The movie is an acid trip. Like, it is.
Yeah, 100%. but it flopped. People hate, like, they were like, no, this is awful. And I watched it so many times. I would just like, there's like a point at the end where the racer X is like, I'm not your brother. And he just like walks away, but he like says something or like does something. And you're like, I'm pretty sure that is his brother. And like, but it doesn't like finish it or anything. And you're just kind of like, oh, what? Like,
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen it. I remember the last time I watched that movie, I was really like the final race scene is
uh-huh.
one of the most exciting races or even just like action chase kind of like sequences, like
Yeah.
octane sequences I've ever seen where like it just like gave me the chills. I think I tear up at the end of that race.
Same. I think I tear up at the end of the movie too, every
yeah,
time.
it's like it gets me where I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
what the hell just happened? It feels like when you're a kid and you just like have all the sugar you could possibly have, and you're just jumping on the couch, and you're
That's
just
a
like,
feeling.
yeah, it's like that. Like everybody in the movie is jumping and screaming for him to win the race.
Oh my God, Christina Ricci, his girlfriend, Trixie. Oh my God, she's just like the most badass, like coolest person. She like works on cars and she's just like, the whole family is like, no, you can't be in this race. But she's so badass and she's so fearless that she's just like, you can do it. Like she's just like his biggest support. And just like, oh my God, she's so,
Who
oh
plays
my God, her
Speed
whole
Racer?
character.
What
What?
actor?
Emil Hirsch
I
from
knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
As soon as you said Christina Ricci, I was like, there's only 4 people that the opposite can be to that. And Emil Hirsch, it sounds perfect
So
for
good. They're
that.
so good. The whole thing is amazing.
that movie flopped really hard though, right? Like
Yeah,
it
it did.
bombed.
It has,
And why
I
did
wrote it down.
people
It had like a 41%, which is not the worst, but like it was
not great.
I mean,
why?
people like it now. I think it's turning into more like a cult classic now, but like
yeah.
at
Like
the time,
I would
like,
love to go see that at the theater. Like
yeah.
I want to go watch that movie again.
Yeah, right.
Oh
I
my
think it
God.
came out in 2008. I think I did see it in the theater.
That's such a good title for this because I totally forgot about it until you said something, and now I remember the colors and the lights and everything. Now I need to watch it. Where it's Cheryl? Where is it?
I don't remember it. It's somewhere.
nuts. It has like a Scott Pilgrim versus the World quality to it as well. Where it's like
Great movie.
and it's just like very. I think in a lot of ways that movie is innovative in its strangeness and in like how committed it is to being a live action cartoon.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to try and pull off, and I feel like they just literally translated the cartoons into live action, and that's what happened. And it's just like this movie is on crack.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. Like it is so much fun. Oh my God,
So
that's a
good.
great. I like these picks.
These are really good.
Well, you're not gonna love this next one. So the next one is so this movie is about teen siblings
Oh no.
who witness a jewel heist, and they witness Tatiana, please just like keep yourself. I feel
I'm
like
just
you're gonna
thinking.
know.
I'm thinking of it as you're going. Continue.
I know, but I need you to like, yeah. So they have to go into the witness protection program because they they know the face of this guy that they're trying to get. He's like this jewel thief, and they put them in this witness protection program, and they bounce around from place to place, and they keep like messing it up. Like you just see them like at a new town, and then they like mess up their names, they mess up like where they're from. There's like a whole montage of them just like messing things up, and they end up like in the middle of nowhere, and they're just like, they mess it up on purpose that time because they're just like, get me out of here. And then they like, you just see the witness protection people are just like exhausted and so tired, and they're just like, this is your last chance, this is your last town, this is like, we have nowhere else to put you after this. And they end up in Australia, and they're there, and they're like, okay, we can't mess this up, this can't happen. And they just like fall in love with the town and like with the whole thing. And then they end up having to face the jewel thief, and turns into like that's the climax, is like they somehow trace them back, like the jewel thief finds them in Australia and like traces them there.
What's the movie called?
He hasn't said it yet.
I haven't said it yet, because I feel like it's a fine movie until you're like, it's called Our Lips Are Sealed. It's from the 2000s and it stars Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh my
I
god.
knew it. I knew
Oh my
it was this
God.
movie. Like as soon as you said witness protection program, oh my gosh.
The fact that you were able to get through a whole Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen synopsis without making it seem like it was a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie. You made it sound way more dramatic than I thought it.
Yeah, you did.
right?
You did.
Hilarious. That was amazing. That was well done. That was
well done. Perfect, Cheryl.
That
Oh
could
my
have
god.
been that could have been a thriller, like a dramatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
not.
I thought the whole like town thing is a weird thing, but like other than that, I was like,
Yeah.
what is it?
No, it's
And why Australia? Why did they go to Australia?
I don't remember. I mean, it was just like, this is the last place that they have like, I think they have like a thing where they're putting pins on like a map where they've tried to go. And like, it's the last place. They're like, we can't, this is the only place we can put them now. And like the whole, like the Olsen twins are known for their montages in their movies, like shopping montages, everything, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
But this one is such an
Really?
interesting.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Oh
that.
yes. Oh yes.
Oh my god, they perfected it. But this one, the montage is so funny because it's just like them just like in different, and like you can see the way that they have it like set up, like you can see them in different towns, like in different like situations, and they're just one time they just, because they're twins and they just like get each other's names wrong, like they're just like, no, I'm Mary, like they're like, and and then that's just like one of the ways that they mess it up. They like forget who is who in the scenario. That was like one of the movies when I was like growing up. I just wanted to watch it over and over. We would like rent it. We never really owned any of the Olsen twin movies, but every time we went to a movie rental place, a Blockbuster, that was my choice. I always chose an Olsen twin movie, like the newest one I could find. And I rented that one probably a million times. And we always went like on a Friday, and then we'd have it through the weekend. And my siblings stayed with us on the weekends, so I'd wake up really early, and my brother would put on Our Lips Are Sealed was probably our favorite one to put on, me and I would just watch it at like 6 a.m. every Saturday.
I have to watch it now. I feel like the Olsen movies are once again another great example of a ridiculous movie, because not only the whole line of their movies, this one is probably the best of them, but they're all like that. They're all like the most ridiculous plot, the most ridiculous montage. Oh my god, that's amazing. And that, I think, concludes a first ever Ridiculous Film Festival. So congratulations, everyone. That was amazing. And I can't wait for the second one, because I think we've only touched the surface. As we were talking, I thought of like 4 more. So this we'll have to have another one real soon. Now, Cheryl, it is definitely past 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's actually really past 9 o'clock. It's too late. You need to go home. Or you don't need to go home, but you can't stay here.
You can't stay here, Rob. We're kicking you out. You need to please leave.
It's time. It's time for me to go. It's way past my bedtime.
But and Sarah's.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. It's been the absolute pleasure to have you. And like I said, we would be still here. We would be until late night still talking about all these movies. So with that, we will say bye. So you can listen to this episode. Well, you probably already listened to it now. You can also watch it on YouTube. That is the thing. We're actually in person talking to each other here on Zoom. So you can see all of our facial reactions, especially Cheryl. Cheryl the whole time was very expressive. And I need you to see that. So go to YouTube. Please Leave by 9 is the handle. You'll find it really easily. Instagram, also Please Leave by 9. There's a website also. I bought the domain right to Please Leave by 9. So if you just type that in, there you go. That's easy. It really can't get easier than that. I don't know what to do. PLB9. I could do that, but that would be too easy. I don't want to do that. But yeah, so we will see you next time. Bye.
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 a Gaviota Media House production.
Entertainment.